not the outcomes, I swear. It's how the outcomes come about and how it's so predictable and at the same time so preventable. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Avalanche 6, Penguins 2 last night at PPG Paints Arena. I covered it. I was surprised by almost none of it. And when I say almost, it was a pleasant surprise to see Cody Glass put one in. He's worked so hard. He's been so generally effective. He finally got his first goal of the season. And the rest of it could not be by anybody remotely categorized as a surprise. You put Tristan Jarry in, you know you're going to give up a goal within the other team's first 5 shots. That's happened all but twice, all season long, out of his 11 games. No kidding. He's given up a goal within the first 5 shots in 9 of them. On the very first shot, in 4 of them. And he let in some stinkers. Mike Sullivan had an unflattering thing to say about him afterward. It was terse, but it was real. When asked if he thought Jarry had taken a step backward, he replied very simply, "Yeah, I thought so," which is not how he usually handles his goaltending questions. Matt Grzelcyk was caught pinching not once, but twice. The first of those really hurting because it was early in the game. He saw Blake Lizotte, the guy who'd have to cover him, right in front of him, went ahead and pinched anyway, even though Nathan McKinnon's right there in front of him. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is the benefit of you being Matt Grzelcyk taking that risk? What's going to be the good thing that happens from you, Matt Grzelcyk, taking that risk? But nothing boots him from the lineup. He could do anything. He could sit there in the third period of a tie game, turn around and start firing pucks on his own goaltender, and he's still going to be in there the next game. I can no longer stomach watching the fourth line, and I understand the Penguins aren't going to win or lose based on their fourth line, but you'll recall that earlier this season when it was Lars Eller and Valtteri Puustinen and Jesse Puljujärvi, you were getting something out of those guys. Like, you would get these really good shifts, sustained shifts deep in the attacking zone, even the occasional goal. And now that all the various Noel Acciaris and Matt Nietos are back, you're right back to getting the same nothing that you got out of the bottom 6 last year. Acciari finished this game with the lowest shot attempt-based advanced metrics on the entire team. Good thing he stole 11 minutes of ice time while Puljujärvi again was a healthy scratch. Does it seem like I'm bringing up the same names, the same situations again and again and again? Kind of like I did yesterday when I was openly doubting whether or not this team's nice run of success of late was real or was something that could form a firm foundation for the next month or so. And I would throw the same names and the same everything at you. Then they go out there and just do it again, and nothing changes. Nothing's going to change on this trip that the Penguins are about to make to Montreal and Ottawa. Nothing. You're not going to see lineup changes. You're not going to see Grzelcyk come out. You're not going to see Puljujärvi go in. You're not going to see Jarry get sent to wherever it is that he should be sent to. You're not going to see Joel Blomqvist come up. You're not going to see Acciari come out. You're not going to see a lot of the things that you could and should be seeing right now while this team is still hovering near 500, still hovering near the playoff periphery of the Eastern Conference. If you're trying to make something of this season, and the Penguins, right up to Kyle Dubas, continuously claim that they are, then why not put your best team on the ice, or put your youngest, most hope-filled team on the ice, or do both at the same time since they're the same people. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Abandoned ship, Bob. Sell the team. Are you a Pirates fan who is angry or apathetic about our perennial losing baseball team? Do you feel helpless because you don't know how to make a difference? Well, good news. We have something you can do about it. Join our Sell the Team movement. We're a group of passionate fans voicing our frustration and demanding change through billboard campaigns, press outreach, protests, and involvement at local city government meetings. Go to ourteamnothis.com to get involved.
Today's J1Q comes from Nick, who asks, DK, does Mike Sullivan have eyes? Can anyone ask Kyle Dubas why Sullivan keeps playing Matt Grzelcyk, never mind Tristan Jarry? Like, can someone straight up ask at a press conference? I mean, the answer to that, of course, Nick, is yes. And the further answer is that Sullivan himself, and he is the one who handles the lineups, has been asked about Grzelcyk and about Grzelcyk staying in the lineup. He's been asked about Jarry. He was asked about Jarry after this game. Dubas, he'll do about once every 3 months some kind of press gathering, usually up in Cranberry. The floor is open to all questions, but what you don't want to do with your questions, you don't want to waste them. So if you're going to ask a question that you know is going to get answered with Sully handles the lineup decisions, then you're wasting your question. You're, in essence, as a result, asking a dumb question because you're not getting any kind of answer out of it. Remember, the goal of asking questions, reporters asking questions, isn't to express anger or whatever. We're reporters. We're not fans. We're not there to represent the fans. We're not there to convey the fans' emotion. We're there to ask questions that are relative to our coverage. Questions that, if you're operating in good faith, you legitimately don't have answers to. So what's a fair question, as well as one that's going to get an answer, is you would say to Dubas, for example, I would say, how do you feel Grzelcyk has performed to date? Has it been more or less than what you expected when you signed him? And then from there, depending on how it is that he answers, because it is his prerogative to answer that question, you would come back with a follow-up or two that would be related not just to Grzelcyk, but maybe to other defensemen who could conceivably replace Grzelcyk and how they might be faring in management's eyes, that kind of thing. But I say this all the time to fans of all three of our city's teams. We're not there to convey your emotion. If you want to get mad at Sully or Dubas or whoever it is, you find your own way to get mad at them. It's got nothing to do with what reporters do for a living. We just happen to be there in contact with them. And then through a show like this or through our website, DK Pittsburgh Sports, where we're in constant communication with our readers, you have a way to reach us. So there's a misnomer there that, at least among some people who aren't familiar with this, that we're supposed to walk into these things shaking our fists or something. Look, I'm as perplexed as anyone by the Grzelcyk thing specifically. It has all kinds of Jeff Carter written all over it, except that Grzelcyk really was never good. I mean, Carter at least had a big chunk of his career where he was really good, and he was really good when he got here initially in the trade with the Kings, arguably the Penguins' best playoff performer that year. And Grzelcyk's not that. I mean, he was a he was just a guy in Boston. He comes here and it's, like there was some really big acquisition. But I'll tell you this too, as the guy who asked undoubtedly what were the hardest and most pointed questions about Carter during Sullivan's long span there of continuing to play Carter even when he wasn't helping the lineup, what I ask or what anybody else asks, it has no impact. If you think that's influential in any way, shape, or form toward what these guys in any sport, at any level, decide that they're going to do, not even in the slightest. I appreciate the question, though. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins, and we're going to do another one of these tomorrow.